When I was a kid, I was very emotional, and I still am. But there are just some songs, TV shows, movies that used to make my heart wrench that just don't hit the same. So whenever I want the tears to flow without permanently scarring myself, nothing delivers a sucker punch to the gut quite like the lyric, "More than a pet, you're my best friend." Reciting it even without the tune makes my eyes sting. Ew, what the fuck?
Your video to the show. I do.
Butt lovers! Hello, hi, I'm Athena P, and the other day tears were streaming down my face as I was listening to "Now My Heart Is Beating Like the Saddest Metronome," and I saw that visual of a heartbroken Spongebob with the literal metronome. The tune hurts me, the lyrics hurt me, the visuals hurt me. But then another thought occurred to me. I haven't watched the episode that song was in a while, so I just rewatched the episode, and I was too stunned to speak. This episode makes the song so much sadder. It is so creepy and unnerving, and we have to break it down. But first, a bit of foreshadowing for later, let's talk about love with this video's sponsor, the Paired app. In my last video, me and my husband gave advice, and the overarching theme was communication. One way we do this is through the Paired app. The Paired app truly deepens emotional connections with prompts that really spark meaningful discussion, showing our appreciation more, talking about our needs more in a non-accusatory way, of course. Me and Ben just celebrated our 9-year anniversary on September 9th. It was a lovely day, and while we found ourselves out on dates, when we didn't know what to talk about, we whipped out the Paired app, and we were laughing, we were holding hands and staring into each other's eyes deeply. It's very sweet and romantic. Ben is definitely more of a type B personality, and a lot of the time I see him agreeing with me, so it's really great that he could lead the conversation in a way he's not used to. And then a lot of the time we see differences in our responses, and a lot of the time I'm like, yeah babe, you're right. I love hearing from you like this. Paired also offers expert-backed advice in a fun and engaging way. A lot of the time when people say they're relationship experts, I am quick to scoff, roll my eyes and be like, yeah, okay. But Paired is reliable. Paired is professional in a way that doesn't feel stuffy, and the advice just makes sense. And I've seen results in my own life. Ben has repeatedly told me this is their favorite sponsor. Be sure to click my link below to get a free trial and 25% off Paired Premium to continue to deepen the connection with your partner. Thank you so much to Paired for sponsoring this video and providing an amazing product. Now back to SpongeBob and the incredibly sad nature of Gary Come Home. I'll never get over it.
There you are, Miss Tuftsy.
The episode Have You Seen This Snail was released in 2005, 20 years ago, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I was 7 years old and I never missed a new SpongeBob episode. It starts off so unassuming with SpongeBob carrying a very heavy bag of snail food, but he immediately gets distracted by a package. It's the official Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy paddleball playset. I never noticed that this toy is manufactured by Nickelodeon Inc., so the network SpongeBob is on exists in-universe, but airs Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, aka SpongeBob's favorite TV show. Cheeky. SpongeBob gets hyperfixated on completing the Dirty Bubble Paddleball Challenge to the point where he forgets to feed Gary. Gary had fork and spoon in hand, yeah, he has hands sometimes, and Gary even goes so far as to check his internal clock. His shell is a dome brain. We don't have time to unpack all the SpongeBob anatomy. We have to go over this unintentional betrayal, this unforgivable oversight. I remember thinking when I was a kid, it's just one meal, Gary's being over dramatic. But no, dude. SpongeBob yelled at him, tossed him aside, and there's this disgusting visual of Gary being so hungry, he almost mistakes a spider's egg sac for food before it bursts open and 1,000 spiders crawl all over. I'd get my little running away stick sack thing ready too, actually. Gary floats down the river, he's on a bus. He's not just running away, he's running far away. He didn't even get to see the worst of it. SpongeBob was trying to complete this challenge for over a full week. completely unaware of Gary's absence. Not to defend him, but Sponge Robert didn't even know how much time had passed. He said the milk was fresh when it expired. He said it's only been a couple of hours, and Patrick gauges how much time has passed by eating the now solid seahorse milk. I was recently reminded of this atrocious visual while watching this absolutely peak video. Definitely check out Batan, my favorite SpongeBob channel for sure. Anyway, SpongeBob makes no excuses. He looks everywhere for Gary, he panics, he cries. This is probably the biggest SpongeBob fuck up in the whole series, but I have such a soft spot for this idiot, I had to immediately forgive him. Especially after the song. We haven't even gotten there yet, I'm already getting misty-eyed. This episode dropped a lot of hints throughout that it would scar me. Gary still hasn't found food. We see his ribs, and his stomach didn't just growl, it grew a face and screamed.
Holy shit!
I must have forgotten all the creepy little details because I was too busy laughing at Squidward, who was screaming for a solid minute, with absolutely no reaction from SpongeBob and Patrick, who just barged into his bathroom unannounced. After they searched everywhere, including the bathtub, SpongeBob finds a note from Gary. He was able to translate these scribbles. Gary not only informs SpongeBob that he's moving on, but he makes sure to pour a little extra salt in SpongeBob's guilty wound.
Sincerely, Gary. At least until my new owner renames me. Dear Neptune.
This is how Gary felt after writing that absolute scorcher. But unfortunately, Gary learns how uncharitable the world is. He is ignored by everyone. A couple on their date even lowers the blinds, so this stray animal can't ogle at their food anymore. Fuck these two, I hope they get divorced. When Gary thinks he's being jumped by a gang of snails, turns out they were just trying to invite him to dinner. Don't judge a book by its cover, Gare Bear. This lesson continues because immediately after, we are introduced to the seemingly saccharine sweet little old grandma. She calls Gary Miss Tuftsy before showering him in love and, more importantly, food. Gary had hearts above his head. She danced with him, saying they were doing the boogie woogie. Look at his glossy eyes as she tucks him in. I'll never forget my first impression being, wow, I love SpongeBob, but I don't want Gary to leave her either. I really like this grandma.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Set phasers on fun, Miss Tuftsy. Was a vocal stim for a while. I cannot even tell you. SpongeBob can't stop sobbing at his job. The Krusty Krab's customers don't like the taste of tears. And SpongeBob then ditches his job to double down on the search for Gary, making sure to spread the word everywhere that he's very sorry. Look at this one flyer that just says, fool. Our sweet square titular bitchular had one bad day, and now he has to go on a humiliation parade world tour to beg for forgiveness. Each visual in the song is a painting where the watercolors are my tears. I cannot watch this without crying. I'm so serious. SpongeBob staring at the empty food bowl, completely deflated. SpongeBob watching a cloud shaped like Gary blow away, and the way he still looks for the cloud as Patrick pulls him away. SpongeBob listening to a vinyl record that is just Gary's meows. It would probably sound a little something like this. That was such a good video idea. I'm so proud of myself. The part that always gets me is the photo album. Look at how small they are. Look at how small Gary is. He just fits in SpongeBob's hand. And then SpongeBob uses a plane to write Gary come home. This is when I have to point out how useless Patrick has been throughout this whole process. He presses a button for peanuts and causes the plane to malfunction. I was so close to crying, and then this happened and I lost it.
I want peanuts.
I want penis. Watch that again and tell me it doesn't sound like Patrick said penis.
I want peanuts.
I want peanuts. Not the time, Patrick! Also, not to mention, Patrick saw Gary right before this song and never told SpongeBob. When things are important to people other than Patrick, he just cannot process it. He has no empathy. Even though Gary had a lot of fun with this old lady, the moment he saw these flyers, the sheer amount of I'm sorry flyers, without a second thought, he tried to get back to SpongeBob. Of course he still loves him. The only thing Gary packed in that sack was a picture of SpongeBob. Now here's where the episode goes from sad to scary sad. As Gary tries to escape, he opens this closet full of empty snail shells. I remember as a kid, at first I thought, oh, this is like Darla from Finding Nemo. She has good intentions, but accidentally kills her pets due to her enthusiasm. Which is still bad, mind you, but it gets so much worse. Gary, now uncomfortably full to the point where he is pouring out of his own shell, his shell breaks. He looks over at the photo of the old lady surrounded by these snails, and the snails in the photo shout, "Run!" Even when I was younger, I understood, oh shit, this old hag is eating her pets. That's terrifying. I hated it then, I hated it now. It's like a Hansel Gretel moment. I'm shitting my pants, frankly. But what I completely blocked out of my memory till now...
Grandma knows how much you love these late-night crime drama programs.
Okay, foreshadowing, that flew right over my head back in the day. And I also forgot that Gary sacrificed one of the street snails. Justice for that green snail, that is so fucked. Yeah, SpongeBob and Gary reuniting was adorable. Yeah, they played another bop during the credits. Do you know the song Where's Gary? I wonder how things went so wrong. Boom, 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 boom. I turned around and he was gone. Boom, boom, boom. Where's Gary? Each night I ask his empty bed. Was it something that I said? The little voice inside my head says, where has Gary gone? But I can't even focus on any of that because that was devastating. And who is gonna tell me that Amy Poehler voices that evil old bitch? I only recently found that out because for a very long time I was scared to Google this episode. I have extra trauma associated with this. I'm sure some of you have experienced this exact same thing, but for those of you who don't know, searching up the song led to the edgy humor parts of the internet. I was a kid just wanting to hear a song from SpongeBob. I didn't want to watch footage from the Twin Tower attacks. What the fuck is wrong with you? Moral of the story, don't give your kid unrestricted internet access. Even after all of that, SpongeBob remained my favorite TV show. And I listened to the music on repeat. In fact, I got a CD with the song Best Day Ever on it before the episode with that song even came out. I listened to the song so much, and it is the exact opposite of Gary Come Home. It was pure joy. So when the Best Day Ever episode came out and didn't match the vibe, it once again killed my soul. The episode wastes no time. The moment I heard the instrumental of the song with the pan into SpongeBob's house, yeah, of course I got chills. Call me a cornball, but it's true, okay? I can't help it. He wakes up, he immediately starts singing. It's very abrupt. He's just that excited about the day. This creepy son sings back to him with SpongeBob's own voice before lighting him on fire. He jumps out of bed, and the visual of him kicking his little legs, I was grinning ear to ear. I was flapping the fuck out of my arms, even with the knowledge of what's to come. Best Day Ever was my first favorite song. SpongeBob explains the whole day he has planned to Gary, and we see in a thought bubble or dream bubble of sorts exactly how he wants the day to go down. He's excited to go to work, he loves his job, then he's having a karate session with Sandy, followed by jellyfishing with Patrick where he gets to show off his new net, and finally, he's gonna end the day watching Squidward's clarinet recital. Nothing super grand or out of the ordinary. He's just excited to be with all of his friends. It's so cute. The song continues just in time for the key change chorus. I gotta throw ass for a second. Wait 1 second. It's the best day ever, best day ever. Listen, they did cut out some of the verses. I particularly loved the lyric, Every flower, every grain of sand is reaching out to shake my hand. It's the best. And they like cut out that part. So I was pretty disappointed. Not as disappointed as SpongeBob was when he approached the Krusty Krab and it was shut down due to a nematode infestation. When SpongeBob plays his nose like he does in the theme song, he's able to lure the nematodes away from the Krusty Krab. He saved the day, but at what cost? Because he didn't even get to do any fry cooking. Karate with Sandy was also a bust because she had to deal with a leak in her tree dome. Are you noticing the pattern? Every single thing SpongeBob had planned gets ruined, and he also has to save the day for people at his own expense. While the first two instances are no one's fault, just life stuff getting in the way, jellyfishing with Patrick gets ruined by Patrick being Patrick. He broke his net, so he has to hog SpongeBob's new one. But let's take a look at this so-called broken net for a second. You can still hold it by the handle. It's long enough.
Firmly grasp it!
He could have used his own net, or the extra one SpongeBob gave to him, before he broke that one too.
Bruh.
This scene had me so heated, I learned the salty Splatoon fight choreography. SpongeBob gets all droopy and he's singing Best Day Ever while crying. Dude is so down in the dumps, his nose looks like Squidward's. Speaking of Squidward, he's in shambles because his clarinet is broken. Rule of threes, more like rule of fours, bitch. SpongeBob saves the day yet again, and he is angry about it, acting like a drill sergeant to encourage Squidward before pulling his own tooth out to fix Squidward's clarinet reed. I wish he also fixed Squidward's fuck-ass hat. Why is the strap around his eyes and nose? It pains me. This whole episode is pure pain. The bouncer of the event says no ticket, no entry, and kicks SpongeBob out over and over and over again.
Wait a minute. Did you say SpongeBob? You're on the VIP list.
What?
You didn't mention any list before this! Infuriating. One thing I'll say, that means Squidward made him a VIP. This would be a huge win for me, but this episode is all about going from the top of the world to the bottom. So you already know the concert just ended. SpongeBob didn't even get to sit down, and at this point he cannot hold it in any longer. He lets out a loud, "No!" Even now I watch this through my fingers. A public breakdown of this magnitude, it's just full of tension, but it's the continued downward spiral that makes me really cringe. This random audience member isn't even safe from SpongeBob's wrath. I saw this clip used as an intro in a SpongeBob edit, and it went so hard. I hope I can find it, because the SpongeBob side of TikTok my For You page has been serving me, I'm a really big fan of. The group makes it up to SpongeBob any way he wants, and apparently all he wants is a reprise of Best Day Ever, where he acts out on stage how his day was supposed to go. I hate how condescending Mr. Krabs was before SpongeBob got his wish. It's not about your perfect day. Yes, the fuck it is. The reprise grew on me. It doesn't hold a candle to the original, but it's really funny hearing Mr. Krabs spiral about the budget of this very last minute performance with a captive audience. And if there's one thing Patrick's gonna do, it's take this opportunity to insult and rage bait Squidward.
Don't let those sour notes bring you down.
At his own damn concert? It is intentional. It is malicious. I need to study this beef. The ending is cute because I love how long they all stay just to make SpongeBob happy.
How long do we have to keep this up?
Just till his little heart gives out, Squidward.
And I feel like until his little heart gives out means they want him to be happy forever. Sing forever, SpongeBob. You earned it. Something that is special about this is that one of the unused verses of the full song goes, "Sometimes the little things start closing in on me. When I'm feeling down, gotta lose that frown." So they just expanded on showing how SpongeBob is able to get over the bad days and make any day the best day ever. I don't know. It is kind of cute. When I was a kid, this episode successfully rage baited me because I hate when things don't go according to plan. It's one of the most frustrating things ever. But there was good payoff. I accept it, okay? Now, the musical version of SpongeBob also has their own version of Best Day Ever, and while I like that one moment where the whole cast waits for Squidward to sing, and then he does, the musical version doesn't fucking count, because Ethan Slater will never be SpongeBob. SpongeBob isn't a cheater. The rest of this video is very SpongeBob-centric, so we have a makeup change, alright? I'm gonna try this once. Yeah! Wow. Solid 6 out of 10. Like I keep saying, I was and am very sensitive, much like the Bob himself. So after seeing this emotional roller coaster, I wondered how little Athena didn't give up on this series. How was this show, with gross-out humor and evil characters galore, one of my favorites? Simple answer, SpongeBob. He is a ray of sunshine. I know the beginning of Have You Seen This Snail made him look like an ass, but overall in this series, SpongeBob is an angel. He exemplifies the power of keeping your head up high as the world crumbles around you. It isn't toxic positivity to be the change you wish to see in the world, because as we saw, SpongeBob doesn't pretend things are okay when they aren't, but he will smile in the face of someone who mocked and belittled him, and that's where his power lies. It's more than turning the other cheek, it's the ability to not let the world infect you with malice. It's no secret that the residents of Bikini Bottom are some snappy bitches for real.
Witness the terrifying challenges overcome by
who?
By a plucky young sponge!
Does a movie like that even exist?
Yeah! Does it?
Well, actually, I was gonna show you this flip book.
Flip book.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is!
Now, first things first, this is your reminder that SpongeBob is a fully grown man. He went to college, he's a homeowner. I think the confusion comes from people seeing how other fish treat SpongeBob. From the very first movie, you're just a kid. It's undermining, and the infantilization SpongeBob had to go through just because he doesn't hate his life. Squidward got the promotion that was rightfully his. He's the better employee. But because he's joyous and giggly, that's embarrassing. Cringe culture has gone too far in Bikini Bottom. Bobby got drunk, grew a 5 o'clock shadow, and told off his boss until the god of the sea, smiting Mr. Krabs, snapped him out of it. Even though, let's be honest, Eugene totally deserved it. The Now That We're Men song is so relatable because a lot of people want to feel like an adult, but they're waiting for that one magical thing that'll make them feel well-adjusted enough or confident enough. For some people, it's moving out. For others, it's landing their dream job. SpongeBob already accomplished both of these things, but he still felt undermined. This bit of seaweed on his upper lip is a real mustache and a sign of manliness. Apparently, that whole 5 o'clock shadow from earlier does not count.
I am a man.
I've noticed that when the show tries to lean into action and stakes more, there's always a big, strong, masculine brute threatening to kill SpongeBob. And even when SpongeBob is scared, fearing for his life, he remains undefeated. In the movie, Dennis was briefly thrown off balance by SpongeBob's bubbles. A beautiful full circle moment, as earlier in the movie, SpongeBob and Patrick were interrogated about being bubble-blowing babies. Turns out this childish activity is partially responsible for taking down Dennis. Even though he was officially defeated by a boat dock, SpongeBob won, okay? Simple as that. Another pattern, this movie has another instance of a seemingly innocent old lady being a trap for something deadly. Every old lady cannot be trusted except for SpongeBob's lovely grandmother. Back to the beefy bullies. In the season 3 episode, The Bully, we are formally introduced to the flounder named Flats. Flats has apparently always been part of the plan. He was part of the pitch Bible. So SpongeBob's interaction with this angry jerk is an essential part of the series. Flats introduces himself to the whole boating school as someone who likes to kick people's butts. Right in front of the teacher, Mrs. Puff. But you know she doesn't take that shit seriously as an ex-convict herself. The justice system in Bikini Bottom, A whole ass joke. The rest of the class scatters as Flats chooses a seat, but poor SpongeBob doesn't recognize the threat, even when it's directed right at him.
Hi, SpongeBob. I'm gonna kick your butt.
He continues to not take it seriously until it's spelt out via chest and belly hair. I find the show's repeated use of body hair fascinating. As we already discussed, it's supposed to be indicative of adulthood, but more specifically, manhood, with SpongeBob's very existence challenging that traditional masculinity. If I've said it once, let me say it 1,000 more times, I love a femme king. Mrs. Puff looks at Flat's drawing that he drew on the chalkboard of him absolutely fucking up SpongeBob, and Mrs. Puff praises him. The whole world is against SpongeBob. SpongeBob's own best friend Patrick is community college buddies with Flats. Are we surprised Patrick is buddy-buddy with the delinquent? Absolutely not, actually. In fact, it explains his own anger issues. Even Gary gets ready to take a picture when he hears SpongeBob will be beat up. Make no mistake, they're setting up the greatest underdog story of all time, but that build-up is ruthless, relentless, mean. SpongeBob asks for help from multiple people, the most disturbing of which is this exchange with Flats' own father. Turns out, Flats also abuses his dad.
But who wants to kick my butt?
Dad, what are you doing? Nothing, son. What did I tell you about talking to strangers?
Now he's gonna kick my butt!
What the fuck? I know this moment was supposed to subvert our expectations for haha comedy, but even as a kid, I gasped. Was SpongeBob always this much of a psychological thriller? I'm scared, but listen, the payoff is more than satisfying. Even after Flats gets into an accident, flipping his truck after it slips on a banana peel,
Ha ha ha! Classic comedy.
SpongeBob not only revived him, but visited him in the hospital to give Flats flowers. This did not inspire Flats to have a change of heart. The bully is still dead set on beating up his savior. Alarming that nothing, not even the greatest act of kindness, can deter Flats, who is living up to his name by being truly one-dimensional. You get it? You get, cause he's flat. Turns out SpongeBob was worried for nothing because when Flats finally hit him, SpongeBob's softness is what ends up saving him. SpongeBob doesn't feel a thing physically, much like how Flats doesn't feel anything emotionally. Unstoppable force meets immovable object type shit, but Flats actually does exhaust himself because day in and day out he is trying to beat up SpongeBob until he passes out. The ultimate karma, because Flats can only blame himself. SpongeBob was being a total pacifist, not paying him any mind. I gotta keep this in mind for when I'm rage baited online. If we just ignore internet strangers trying to get a rise out of us, this is the perfect visual of what it's like. It's hilarious. SpongeBob, as usual, is what we should strive for. There are many other times violence and traditional toxic masculinity crumble in the face of our compassionate king, SpongeBob. We meet the Tattletale Strangler in the season 3 finale. They picked the perfect crime for SpongeBob to rat him out for, because there's so much moral gray area in the world. If the Strangler was stealing from a supermarket, what if he has a family to feed? But no justifiable action in sight because the dude was littering. One of the most pathetic crimes around, especially under the sea. The only thing worse than that would be if the dude strangled somebody, but what are the odds the Strangler would do something like that? Also, leave it to Mr. Krabs to spread SpongeBob so thin. Cleaning up litter outside of the Krusty Krab should not be in SpongeBob's job description. He's a fry cook. Let the guy cook. Instead of locking up this dude who's a sly crook, the police show up. They lock up this guy about 100 different ways, even handcuffing his hair into cute pigtails. Squidward is the only one to warn SpongeBob that he messed with the wrong guy. The police didn't even offer up any of this info. They know SpongeBob is in danger because he's the Tattletale Strangler. He wants to murder anybody who tells on him, which SpongeBob just did. From the back of the police car, he's threatening SpongeBob. And why are these villains always such good artists? He did all of that with a pencil. I would be more scared of his reality-bending abilities, more so than him mangling the car headrest. The Strangler has another trick up his sleeve. He pulls a Houdini and escapes all of these confines. The cops in Bikini Bottom are always snarky as hell and no help to anybody.
Give us a call if you see him again, Tattletale.
Unfortunately accurate. No one wants to protect SpongeBob. Every macho man in town is scared of the Strangler. How many fish did this guy kill? I'm also surprised SpongeBob never asked Sandy for help. You know Sandy carries. But they're really focused on men. They are hammering home the point of tough, scary man versus our sweet little pipsqueak. And I say that affectionately and not insultingly, okay? The hijinks of this episode starts when SpongeBob unknowingly hires the Strangler in a fake mustache to be his bodyguard. SpongeBob, being the hygienic dish sponge he is, fears that the Strangler's hands will be dirty. Perfect time for a way too textured and detailed frame of the Strangler's grimy, stinky, unmanicured hands. It's as if he just freshly shat on them, knowing it would add insult to the injury of murder. But the Strangler keeps abruptly stopping before he could lay a filthy hand on our hero, because there are way too many witnesses. The Strangler is more similar to Dennis from the movie. Both of these guys are trained assassins. Striking resemblance as well. Perhaps they're brothers. Headcanon. As much as we all hate Flats, he's not capable of something to this degree. This entire episode plays up SpongeBob's innocence and cluelessness, but I never knew how to interpret this little moment.
Don't mention it, Strangler. I mean bodyguard.
Did he subconsciously know? I mean, it's not like the Strangler was being subtle. Since SpongeBob can't find the keys to his house, they have to find another way inside. And while the Strangler is definitely fed up with SpongeBob, the way he talks to him is fascinating.
Think you can hop up on my shoulders, kid?
It's the nicest he's ever sounded, but the framing of SpongeBob as a kid just continues to show how unassuming he is to the rest of the world. Which is a big mistake because, intentionally or not, SpongeBob's spiky cleats go right into the Strangler's eyes. And SpongeBob is weirdly casual about the whole thing. I don't know because the characterization of this show is all over the place, but if he accidentally hurt somebody that badly, that he didn't know actually deserved it, I feel like he'd have a bigger reaction than, oh damn, that's crazy. Hey, can you stop running around and yelling? I'm afraid I'll fall. I know the Strangler isn't a good guy, so we're supposed to rejoice in this visual, but once again, creepy imagery, the band-aids on his eyes, ew. They get inside with the key under the mat that SpongeBob didn't mention at all until after the cleats incident, making SpongeBob appear like he has Patrick Star levels of malicious incompetence. My favorite gag of the whole episode is that SpongeBob throws a party that now the Strangler has to wait out, and look at Squidward busting a move with a lampshade on his head. Okay, party animal. I'm obsessed with this dynamic. SpongeBob, still possibly fearing for his life, just can't help but throw not one but two ragers in a row. Actually, almost 3 parties in a row.
Did someone say party?
SpongeBob sends this guy spiraling to the point where he's at the same level as Mrs. Puff. He'd rather be in jail to be safe from SpongeBob. Kevin C. Cucumber and Bubble Bass are different examples of bullies because they don't employ physical intimidation. They instead try to use SpongeBob's eagerness to please against him. Kevin is a jellyfishing influencer and leverages this against his followers. But when push comes to shove, SpongeBob was the one to save them all from King Jellyfish, even after all the hazing, effectively turning Kevin's own fan base against him. Bubble Bass lies about SpongeBob forgetting to put the pickles in his Krabby Patty, and it took the entire episode for SpongeBob to catch on to the foodie's scheme. SpongeBob just needed to have enough confidence in himself to yank this guy's tongue out of his mouth and expose him for the liar he is. Nerds can be bullies too, but SpongeBob still comes out victorious all the same. One of the ways he gets the enemy to let their guard down is through fun. Plankton, Mr. Krabs' rival, wanted to get the Krabby Patty secret formula through tugging at the heartstrings of SpongeBob. But SpongeBoy Me Bob played an expert Uno reverse card and taught Plankton what fun even is. He spelt it out through song. I love the fun song. It's an acronym we'll never forget. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere and anytime and all down here in the deep blue sea. It's also worth mentioning that SpongeBob extending an olive branch to Plankton was even more admirable back in season 1, because this is when Plankton's schemes were taken way more seriously. Now they kind of laugh it off, but imagine eating in a restaurant and being hit with a full-blown lockdown. Alarms blaring and Squidward shouting from the crow's nest that he spotted the culprit getting away. I think I was in danger. While we're here, I have no evidence to back this up, by the way. This is probably just a coincidence. But I think Steven singing Peace and Love on Planet Earth to Peridot was very much inspired by SpongeBob and Plankton singing the fun song together. So even though SpongeBob and Plankton have a very dramatic friendship breakup, fear not, because we still have a very strong frenemy dynamic in this show. There's another cranky main character that SpongeBob has even more moments with, and this guy is hated just as much as Plankton is.
How does it feel to be the most hated thing in Bikini Bottom, Plankton? It hurts, doesn't it? I know!
That's right. I tricked you into watching a video where there's a giant SQUIDBOB conclusion. I swear these two are the embodiment of ragebait and hopecore at the same time. Please, please let me cook!
Be who you are for your pride.
We need to talk about the April Fool's abuse to Dancing Like Lovers pipeline. I've been dying to talk about this. I have separated all the episodes that capture their dynamic into 4 main categories. Squidward shows remorse and redeems himself is the main one. But we also have Squidward learns from SpongeBob. Squidward spirals with SpongeBob. This is when he lets himself be goofy. And finally, we have SpongeBob spirals with Squidward. Now, this is different because this is when our titular bitchular SpongeBob acts uncharacteristically pissy and flat out enraged. While the beef is oftentimes one-sided, it isn't always. Don't underestimate and infantilize SpongeBob like the rest of Bikini Bottom does. He can definitely hold his own. First up, the Squidward shows remorse and redeems himself category. Let's start with probably the most malicious he's ever been. Fools in April was a season 1 episode, and I think he's definitely softened up a lot since this. If you need a quick refresher, Squidward is dreading April 1st because it's SpongeBob's favorite holiday, so he tries to call out of work.
There's someone here to see you. He says he's from the Barnacle Bay Art Museum, and he wants to honor you as Artist of the Month.
Squidward then rushes into the Krusty Krab, completely unaware that he just ran into the first prank. SpongeBob takes Squidward's negative reaction to the prank very seriously. He begs Squidward to stay and promises no more pranks on Squidward. But determined to be a grouchy grump, just the sound of SpongeBob's laughter through the loudspeaker sends Squidward off the deep end. Squidward creates a Tom and Jerry level violence rope trap, slamming SpongeBob into walls, dragging him through flour, through this customer's ass, and then catching him in a trash can, making him look like the saddest, stinkiest little cylinder in the world. Squidward even calls him a little sausage. It makes me want to cry. The Krusty Krab customers are disturbed by this, as they should be. This is disgusting and evil. The fact that he wasn't fired on the spot is bonkers. The commentary from the crowd is so spot on, it's perfect.
That guy has definitely got some issues to work out.
At first, Squidward doesn't understand why people are upset, insisting that, I was just kidding, guys. Same vibe as saying, it's just a prank, bro. Pathetic. And furthermore, April Fools. Jerk. You stink! Squidward looks around at the damage and he's cringing. Like most self-destructive people, he doesn't really see the damage until it's already done. But he does feel remorse, he knows he's an asshole, he didn't actually want SpongeBob to cry, etc. That doesn't excuse it, not even close, but the rest of the episode focuses on Squidward trying to clear his conscience. He tries to apologize repeatedly, but he physically can't say the word sorry because he's so deeply pent up. His conscience even takes the form of his mother insulting him. Probably the reason he trashes SpongeBob's relationship with his grandmother. Read my fan fiction. When Squidward finally gives a genuine apology, he pours his whole heart out.
I didn't mean to hurt you. In fact, SpongeBob, I like you.
I know what you are, tennis balls. But even when it's read in a friendship way, it's clear that Squidward is embarrassed with how much he shared and how vulnerable he just was. But SpongeBob once again gets the last laugh because he had the whole town in his pineapple house and they all heard Squidward's gay-ass confession. Squidward is mortified. He tries to backpedal. He runs away maniacally laughing. And SpongeBob says, what would we do without Squidward? They stuck the landing. The end of the episode is perfect. It doesn't make Squidward's saw trap prank any easier to watch. But the way I interpret SpongeBob's last line is that it was all worth it just to teach Squidward this lesson. SpongeBob values Squidward, and he likes challenging Squidward. Usually when people say, I can change him, I can make him better, that's problematic and will only lead to disappointment. But when SpongeBob says it, he means it. He's the only person that actually can. The Christmas Who episode is another classic, one of my favorites of all time. I've already gushed about it in this video.
Christmas feels like a very fresh Christmas to me.
SpongeBob and all the sea creatures learn about Christmas from Sandy, a Texan spreading their religion? More likely than you'd think. As I've said before, this marks the beginning of Fishtianity in Bikini Bottom. Squidward doesn't take an active role in SpongeBob being sad. Like, Squidward doesn't stop Santa from coming or set up another saw trap, but Squidward does tell him to grow up and revels in the moments where a fantastical, whimsical illusion is shattered, because it means he's right and he gets to gloat about it. Reality check, buddy. Everyone is miserable all the time. He really rubs it in. He takes a picture of SpongeBob while he's crying. He laughs at him. You know what they say? Hurt people hurt people. This cruelty is definitely learned behavior, but no excuses, okay? I'm just explaining. We hear a donkey sound and see an image of a donkey pop up as Squidward bullies SpongeBob. So this show is very clearly calling him an ass. It's not subtle at all. I love that they got away with this and how far they went. And if that isn't enough, they go even farther with Squidward slapping his ass right in front of SpongeBob's face. Freak word. Even as he sobs, SpongeBob gives Squidward a gift. This is the only reason Squidward stopped smacking his ass.
What?
Squidward was going ham. Anyway, to try and protect himself from feeling guilty, Squidward tries to dismiss it by assuming the gift will be stupid. But it ends up being the most thoughtful, wonderful gift Squidward has ever gotten in his life. A wooden carved clarinet with his name engraved in it, and when he pressed this button, little wooden animatronic Squidwards popped up and down playing a song. I've seen this episode 1,000 times. This scene still makes me giddy. I wish this clarinet was real. It's giving Ghibli. Squidward cheers up SpongeBob by pretending to be Santa, and this episode moves so quickly, I guess Squidward just had this costume ready. And his good deed spirals so much that he ends up giving away everything he owned. The only thing he kept is the clarinet that SpongeBob gave him. And he was able to play it really well at the end. Squidward struggles with playing the clarinet throughout the series when he's in his usual cantankerous state, but the rare moments where he feels good about himself, he's better at what he loves to do. Another great redemption moment is in Season 1's pizza delivery. Squidward judges SpongeBob for caring so much about his job and the lengths he'll go to please the customer. So in the end, when SpongeBob is yelled at by the customer after all the work he put in, this male Karen, how am I supposed to eat this pizza without my drink? Squidward gave this guy a piece of his mind and rocked his shit.
Now this one's on the...
Did he change his mind?
He sure did. Ate the whole thing in one bite.
Legend. Squidward, you ate that up in one bite. I forgot how cute he was when he was trying to comfort SpongeBob by repeatedly saying, Sponge. It's okay.
It's okay.
Sponge.
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 Are you picking up what I'm putting down yet? Here are 1,000 more examples. Next category, episodes where Squidward learns from SpongeBob. Even though the previous examples can also be considered Squidward learning from SpongeBob, these next few episodes it's less about empathy, because the only person he hurts in the next few episodes is himself. In the episode Just One Bite, Squidward denies himself the joy of having a Krabby Patty. He hates his job, he hates the customers, he doesn't want to give SpongeBob credit, he dismisses the whole thing as stupid. He's never tried a Krabby Patty. When SpongeBob finally convinces him to try one, he takes the tiniest bite. He looks almost scared. He claims he hates it, maybe out of embarrassment, maybe just out of pride, but the moment he's alone, he is obsessing, he is hooked. He goes from fully suppressing this want to complete overindulgence. He ends up needing to go to the hospital after exploding from eating too many Krabby Patties. From the title being Just One Bite, to the paramedic exclaiming,
"Yeah, I remember my first Krabby Patty."
It seems like Krabby Patties almost have drug-like addictive properties. Regardless, Squidward is finally able to let loose for once, but because he didn't admit it right away, he wasn't able to heed SpongeBob's many warnings. A lot of the consequences Squidward faces would be a lot less severe if he just listened to SpongeBob from the start. Another example of this is in the camping episode. Squidward provokes a sea bear because he doesn't believe SpongeBob, he's trying to rage bait SpongeBob, he likes seeing SpongeBob get worried, and because he didn't take SpongeBob seriously, he gets mauled by a bear. Something that would have never happened if he'd just gotten the damn anti-sea bear circle. In the episode Skill Crane, Mr. Krabs gives Squidward a gambling addiction. No joke. This claw machine is put into the Krusty Krab. He pressures Squidward into taking his quarter and giving it a try. Squidward was going to ignore it, but Mr. Krabs was so pushy, he made Squidward play, and all it took was one time for Squidward to be hooked. Oh, I'll win my next try. I'll win my next try. It doesn't help that it comes naturally to SpongeBob, so Squidward knows it's possible to be a winner. One of Squidward's biggest weaknesses is feeling like a loser. Hearing the "you lose" over and over again as SpongeBob wins and gets all the prizes, he loses it. His mind. Squidward gives Mr. Krabs all of his money, but SpongeBob catches him at his lowest point and finally teaches him the secret of the skill crane. Squidward doesn't even try to push him away or act like he's too above it to ask for help. We've never seen Squidward this desperate before, but just like in the episode Just One Bite, he overdoes it, gloating over his teddy bear prize to an embarrassing degree, rubbing it in this kid's face. I never not laugh at the scene. And the episode's climax is Squidward thinking his new skill applies to an actual construction site. Huh? Yeah, he really goes off the deep end. People mistake Squidward as a straight man only there to react to SpongeBob. But no, trust me, dude, he's just as kooky, and also he's not straight. Squidward, there's only one person who can tell you who you are.
Me.
No, me, Athena P. I forgot that this episode ends with the Krusty Krab being destroyed by the very monster Mr. Krabs created. Got some good karma there. They once again stuck the landing with that one. The biggest moment of vulnerability from Squidward is in this canon comic, where he is confused and angry at SpongeBob for saying they had a good day when everything went wrong. But SpongeBob exclaims that he had a good day because he got to spend it with his friend. Squidward breaks down crying. This guy isn't used to feeling cared for or having friends. This is why he's so jaded. What a beautiful moment. I'm sorry, I'm touched. Remember how Squidward is a secret weirdo? Please never forget that. He's an octopus named Squidward, for God's sakes. What do you expect? Of course he's a little mixed up. But no one is able to get Squidward to let his freak out quite like SpongeBob. SpongeBob convinces Squidward that Mr. Krabs is a robot, to the point where they interrogate him together. Squidward spirals over how much fun SpongeBob and Patrick are having in a cardboard box, to the point where he has to give it a try, no matter how much he fights it. He tries to get his gum wrapper back from SpongeBob once he sees how much fun SpongeBob is having with it. He has a giant snowball fight with SpongeBob and Patrick, where he, as usual, goes overboard. Squidward has the opportunity to live with and be surrounded by people who act exactly like him. And at first, it's peaceful, it's a dream come true. He's claimed this is the exact life he's always wanted. but it gets boring. He misses his old neighbors and the chaos they brought. What he says and his actions don't line up. If he was so over SpongeBob, if he was so annoyed by SpongeBob, he had the opportunity to leave. He didn't. He actually is entertained by SpongeBob. The episodes I'm even more interested in are the ones where SpongeBob holds his own and snaps back. But I beg you to please see their back and forth for what it is. It is 80% of the time playful as hell, and the other 20% I ignore because I can, okay? It's fiction. In the season 1 episode, Employee of the Month, Squidward and SpongeBob share their equally valid feelings about their job. SpongeBob said having pride in his job is nothing to feel ashamed over, while Squidward correctly points out that this monthly award is just a manipulation tactic by Mr. Krabs to get SpongeBob to work harder for no extra pay. For once, Squidward pooping all over SpongeBob's parade was supposed to be for his own good. Tough love and all that. But SpongeBob starts to fear that maybe Squidward is just trying to throw him off his game so that he could be Employee of the Month for once. So SpongeBob tries to sabotage Squidward by sneaking into his house at night and destroying his clock. Turns out Squidward has a clock collection, and even though he never cared about this award or his job, he isn't one to turn down a challenge. Especially because SpongeBob is being really cocky and mean about it, calling himself better than Squidward, calling Squidward a loser, which you know gets under Squidward's skin. This episode is so peak. I need more of SpongeBob matching Squidward's pettiness. It ends up backfiring on Mr. Krabs, so it's extra perfect. You know an episode where SpongeBob acts extra cheeky? Have you ever seen the season 4 finale Pranks-A-Lot? SpongeBob and Patrick decide to scare the shit out of everyone in town by pretending to be ghosts. Invisible spray is something that exists that I don't think we ever see again. They go really far in this episode, determined to prank everyone in town, going extra hard on their last victim, Mr. Krabs. High effort shit, like replacing all of the glass in the Krusty Krab with rubber? I know they're invisible, but how did they do that? People would see the glass floating away. Whatever. They understand this isn't a ha-ha lighthearted joke, because the moment they're visible again, they try to run away and they're scared of Mr. Krabs' reaction. Also, they're naked because invisible spray stains clothes. Mr. Krabs gets back at them in the end by having the whole town cheering at the naked pranksters. And you thought SpongeBob wasn't an adult? What show did you think you were watching? Get real. This is sitcom level hijinks. I bring this up to say the earlier seasons was a lovely mix of kind-hearted and optimistic, but he's still a product of where he's from. He fights the malice of Bikini Bottom, but he can still show his camaraderie in strange ways. SpongeBob isn't perfect, he's playful, and that playfulness can be taken very far. Just the cartoony nature of the show, it's already taken to extremes, and the ways these characters bounce off of each other has the freedom and flexibility of the episodic format. Squidward defends SpongeBob from an awful customer. Then, 14 episodes later, he's playing the most brutal prank anyone has ever pulled on anyone ever. That's ragebait. But then, everyone can get along again. That's hopecore. And it never ends. And I love it. In the episode Squid on Strike, we see SpongeBob learn from Squidward, which is very rare. Mr. Krabs is charging them for breathing, tying their shoes, just living. And Squidward tells SpongeBob they're going on strike to demand respect, better working conditions, and better pay. Given how SpongeBob would let Mr. Krabs walk all over him, SpongeBob is in shambles over this strike. He wants to work. He would pay to work. But once again, just like in Employee of the Month, Squidward really doesn't want to give up on trying to get through to SpongeBob. Squidward riles up a crowd with his passion, but the crowd is just as dense as SpongeBob is. Everything Squidward says flies over their heads. You could feel Squidward's rage. At first he thinks they're on his side. They're cheering for the strike, but then they trample Squidward, eager to give Mr. Krabs their money. Fucking scabs. Oh wow, I had no idea as a kid how much Squidward was spitting facts. When Mr. Krabs goes outside to mock and take what little hope they have away from them, SpongeBob has had enough. SpongeBob trusts Squidward. You feel that in your core? That's hope. The episode ends with SpongeBob misinterpreting Squidward's message of dismantling the establishment by literally destroying the Krusty Krab building. While awesome, was a very intense move. You have to check in with your strike organizer, because SpongeBob had no idea that Mr. Krabs and Squidward were negotiating. Mr. Krabs falls apart and screams at the two that they will be working for him forever to pay off the damages. Final beat of the episode, creepy imagery of their skeletons working together. Bleak, sad, no longer hopeful, quite the opposite. The only constant is that Squidward and SpongeBob are together forever, which, hey, I'll take. A win's a win. Unfortunately, Mr. Krabs' greed doesn't always bring them closer together. In Can You Spare a Dime, after Squidward rightfully quit the Krusty Krab, he ended up taking it too far, as he always does, taking advantage of SpongeBob's kindness and generosity. SpongeBob let Squidward stay at his house while he was getting back on his feet, and while Squidward was grateful for this for about a second, Mr. Tentacle's bitterness reared its ugly head as he shouted demands at SpongeBob. Also, this maid outfit? How are we supposed to interpret that? Why is that a demand he had? I know it's a power dynamic, I know it's a gag, but guys, be so for real, there's undertones here. Even though it took a lot of time, SpongeBob snapped. And as I talked about in my Cartoons Crash Out tier list video, it's always so satisfying to see him lose it. The character whose usual mentality is to turn the other cheek, growing a backbone and getting violent when it's absolutely necessary, inspiring. This cardboard is hurting my face. Let's speedrun some of the newer episodes where you could see SpongeBob's flirting cranked up to level goddamn 9,000. I'm not imagining things. These are the facts. Starting with season 11's Squid Noir. Immediately, it's too bright, it hurts my eyes. There's a lot of gross out visuals. Some background fish ripped out his eyes and stuck them in his ears to block out the sound of Squidward's clarinet. Jesus, dude. I'm only 2 seconds into the episode, can we not? The main plot, somebody broke into Squidward's house and stole his clarinet. He immediately jumps into a black and white film noir style investigation. A nice parody of the genre, and I like that I can give my eyes a break from all the colors. That's coming from me, so it's like the saturation is just insane. SpongeBob is way too eager to yes and Squidward. He wants to play along, he's very handsy, and so fucking flirty it feels like I'm third wheeling. I'm not joking.
Squidward, you're so hard-boiled. I was at Grandma's house all day, and I have the kissy marks to prove it. See? There's room for one more.
This is another example of Squidward's clarinet playing getting way better in the end. I don't know why they drew the music notes all squiggly and were trying to make it seem like he's still really bad at playing, because he is in tune and he sounds way better than he did at the beginning of the episode. You know what that means? He's happy. Love to see it. I think this is the 4th or 5th time I'm talking about the episode Bubble Bass's Tab, but this is the episode that opened my mind. I never thought about SquidBob before this, but after I watched this, I haven't stopped thinking about it. Squidward was eating up SpongeBob's compliments, and he even gets flustered. As crotchety as Squidward is, it's clear that he can enter SpongeBob's imagination land whenever he wants. Meaning SpongeBob has rubbed off on him way more at this point in the series. He lets himself have an escape from all the doom and gloom. Which, I mean, that makes sense. They've been together over 20 years. He likes acting like a grump, it's just way more surface level now. Instead of a deep, depressed sigh that has me speed dialing a therapist, he'll let out a bleh. It almost feels forced. He actually does enjoy life. He just can't let people know because that'll ruin the bit. Now watch them dance! Yeah. Tell me how there's a straight explanation for this. You can't. You literally can't. They frenemied so hard, they slipped and fell in love. Now here's where I'm conflicted. I don't know where else to go in my SquidBob fanfiction. It's a whole lot of slow burn, it's a whole lot of yearning, but I can't decide what the end goal is. Would they be mushy-gushy romantic all the time? Would there even be a sexual element to their relationship? How I see it, their dynamic is like that of Bert and Ernie, where no matter what they're doing together, they are together forever. Soulmates even. It doesn't matter that SpongeBob and Patrick are best friends. Squidward is the one by the Bob next door's side. I understand that at the start, Squidward was probably placed between them as a comedic choice, hearing the idiots from both sides. But as we've seen, rocks and boulders even can move far, far away. Now let's remove that cephalopod blocking selfish star from the equation to truly analyze these neighbors. We have a pineapple, sweet but out of place. We have a tortured artist type living in his own visage. It reflects his ego, but also his tendency to get stuck in his own head, getting in his own way, building his walls up to the point where making connections gets more and more difficult. These two oddballs understand each other. They face off against their corrupt, greedy boss. SpongeBob is more artistically inclined because he has no inhibitions, but he also has no desire to apply it. Squidward is desperate to escape, but he needs to find the joy in what he does. He romanticizes being a tortured artist too much. As annoyed as he usually is with SpongeBob, being with him also makes him feel like a better person, and that's reflected in his art. He makes some of the best art after having a good day with SpongeBob. This is the dynamic. If you were to boil down the cast and just keep two characters, it wouldn't be SpongeBob and Patrick, it would be SpongeBob and Squidward. No question. I could talk about it forever, truthfully. But for now, I'm done. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out my video where I go to every single Great Wolf Lodge in Magic Quest. I've decided I'm plugging it in every single video I have left in 2025. It's a fucking good video, so I'm not sorry. I'm sorry. I just apologized even though I said I wouldn't. All right, have a great day, guys. I demand it. Subscribe if you enjoyed. Bye!